Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for Kalkine Media. Welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. In this edition, I'll be shining a light on Renegade Exploration. Now, Renegade is an Australian-based minerals exploration and development company. Here to tell us more about the company is Director Robert Cartlin. Robert, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you for having me.
Very interested to hear more. Now, we've heard that recently Renegade intersected significant copper and gold intercepts at the Lady Agnes prospect in North Isa. Now, could you briefly explain the key objectives and what the study outcomes mean for the company?
Yes, we got some really attractive intercepts in that initial program, and we're looking to establish a copper sulfide resource there. We believe if we can get a reasonable size and grade, that we can potentially transport it to the Mount Isa smelter, which is only about 25 k's away. So it's a potential short-term development opportunity, and we're currently doing more work on that. Recently, we've been continuing the digitisation of some of the old data, in particular auger data, which we found in the database, and we'll possibly do an infill program around that. We've been waiting to do a downhole EM survey as well, which has been painful, to be honest. We've been waiting about 6-8 weeks for that. The good news is that potentially that will be progressing within the coming week. So that'll be good news for us, because the idea behind that is we think that the ore body potentially, apart from being open at depth and travelling south, may be open to the east, and we're reasonably confident that we'll see some pretty good data out of that EM, and that on the basis of that we'll start planning our next drilling program.
Excellent. Well, good luck for that report. And what will be the company's next steps for the development of the Lady Agnes prospect?
Well, certainly around the drilling. So we'll get that data in, and it should be reasonably quick that we can do the work on it. Apart from the augering, we do plan to do some infill, a little bit of infill work, where there's some missing gaps in it. And then we should be okay to go full steam ahead and plan drilling, hopefully in the next quarter or two.
Great news. Now, moving on, how is the Commentaria joint venture shaping up, and how do you plan to continue exploring other opportunities within and around that JV area?
I think we've been pretty clear with the market that we've been talking to our partner in that, which is Glencore, about perhaps exploiting some of the smaller opportunities that exist within it. And some of them are in our view, very attractive. We're pretty advanced in that, but we've been pretty advanced now for about 6 months. So we're hopeful that we may come to a resolution on some of those assets, which are in the Cloncurry region. Now, the other area that we work in is down in the Duchess area within the CJV, and the news out of there is, I think we flagged it certainly in the quarterlies, perhaps even in the annual report, but the CJV is going to do some drilling down at the Edgarda prospect. That drilling is imminent. We'll be making a release around it probably in the coming days, to be honest, and that is pursuing a substantial IP anomaly, which has had some prior work done on it. The CJV manager, Glencore, hasn't been back to it for several years, but they've been reworking old data and all of that sort of wizardry around the IP. And we're kind of excited about it because it's next door to where Carnaby's operating. So Carnaby's been getting some pretty good numbers out of various targets down there. So there's a big working system. I've actually just brought on board a full-time exploration manager. He's knee deep in that data as we speak, along with all of our other work. But he described it to me this morning as a cracking anomaly, quote unquote. Now, he is a geologist, he gets excited, but But we think that with the planned 2 to 4 holes down there, fingers crossed, maybe we see something of size.
Well, it is a very exciting time for geologists, particularly with the sign of the times with the electric vehicle industry and the energy storage space. What is your take on the demand for copper, given the tailwinds from the EV space?
We're still bullish. We're not going contrary to the narrative, and the narrative right now is that governments around the world are pursuing, certainly in the Western world, recently, yesterday, coming out of the CCP Congress, that they are focusing on EV as well. So China coming to the fore to reduce their emissions. So it all looks pretty positive, even though we're in the middle of a bit of a lull, so to speak. That said, it's not lost on some of us who watch the $8 closely on a daily basis, that the copper is still pretty much north of 12,000 Australian. So from the point of view of us getting out of the ground, short costs have gone up, but getting out of the ground and into plants, it's still right now very attractive. Hence our interest in trying to push forward with certainly Lady Agnes, and also getting some of these other assets out of CJV moving.
So what is Renegade's acquisition strategy?
We're always looking. We haven't made an acquisition since December last year, which was the North Isa project. We're looking at several at the moment. We had a near miss recently, but may come back to us. Pretty much all around that sort of new metals space. So yeah, we continue to look, and we're talking to some other groups about expanding our portfolio in Queensland and elsewhere.
It's such a busy time for you at the moment. And how much action can we expect in the remaining months of 2022? And what are your medium to long-term plans?
So immediately we've got the CJV drilling at Edgarta down at Duchess. So that is planned to start next month. The downhole EM at Lag, plus the field work. So we'll be getting information back from that and reporting back to market. Talking about the drilling at Edgarta, we're going to work on the basis that Glencore don't get any favours at the labs. And so I'm expecting we're going to see assays from that either pre or just post-Christmas. So it's always interesting for investors to know that. So unless they can prioritise, and unless they see some really interesting stuff, that's our expectation. But we'll have an idea of what's going on down there for sure as the drilling's going on. The information coming out of Lady Agnes, I think, will be more than interesting for the market, because that will then predicate some of that sort of medium longer term planning, which will be around the drilling. Outside of that, CJV, we're around the table, we're on the dance floor with them, and with a bit of luck, we might actually get them over the line on doing something on some of those prospects up in the Cloncurry area.
Fantastic. It definitely sounds like a busy time. Thank you so much for your time today, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Director of Renegade, Robert Kirtland. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel at Kalkine Media. Stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine. Thank you very much.